All right, Barber's Lounge back with a machine that has a little buzz quietly. A lot of people asking about it, and that is the Monster Assassin. So we're going to put this machine through the Barber's Lounge test. You know, we're going to heat test the blades. We're going to talk about the motor and the torque. We're going to test the runtime. We're going to take the machine apart, and we're going to fully break it down. So let's start where we usually do, with the blades. Now this comes with the crispy blade. This has a lovely echoey crunch. You won't need to replace this blade, put an echo blade on it, nothing. This has a nice crunch. Cutting range, 5 positions, slides back, decent cutting range with the Monster Assassin. Now let's take the blades off and look at them. All right, for the stationary blade, the type is a fade blade, and this has the echoey crunch, 21 teeth, DLC coated. And when you flip this blade over, you'll notice something different. There's no metal cut out like on traditional blades. It's all flat on the back. Something I haven't seen before, but pretty cool. But we're going to see how this holds up with the heat test and everything else. Moving on to the cutting blade. This is a metal cutting blade. This blade is 28 teeth. These are shallow teeth. This is just like the Stylecraft Shallow Tooth 2.0 cutter. It doesn't have oil reservoirs in the back of the teeth, but it has this whole channel right here, which the oil could sit in, and a couple oil reservoirs in the feet of the blade. And let's also talk about this other blade they sell. Now this is the same stationary blade, but the cutting blade is different. This is called the Star Blade, and this is a lot like the Space Blade offered on the dual coil. And they had this out right at the same time, if not before the Space Blade and dual coil officially dropped. So when you get this package, you'll have another crispy blade, 2 extra screws, the Star Blade, and a cam follower. Same cam follower that it comes with stock. So the Star cutting blade, much like the Space Blade, has a lot of metal removed to make it lightweight and to make heat escape. Oil reservoirs in the teeth and in the feet of the blade. And the teeth on the Star cutting blade are a lot deeper than the teeth that come on the stock cutting blade. These are the shallow teeth. So you could expect these teeth to feed in hair a little bit quicker, but not cut as precise. And to tell you the truth, I thought I liked this cutting blade better, but I felt like the machine performed better with the stock cutting blade. So now that we know about these blades, let's give each of them a little heat test. All right, so for the heat test, we're going to let the machine run for 30 minutes and see how hot the blades get. And up first, we're going to use the cutting blade that comes stock with the machine. That's the shallow tooth blade that comes coated with DLC. All right, so after 30 minutes, the blades got up to 114 degrees. That's pretty much expected for metal on metal blades with a machine at this RPM. Now, let's try the Star Blade. This is going to be more lightweight, supposed to let more heat escape, and this looks like it's coated in a blue titanium. They don't specifically say, but anytime you see it coated with that blue, it's usually titanium. Let's see how hot it gets. All right, so after 30 minutes, this also got up to 114 degrees. So you're probably going to get the same results in terms of heat, no matter which cutting blade you get. And in case you didn't know, the Star cutting blade is something that's sold separately. All right, so now let's get into the motor for this machine. Now this machine has a brushless rotary motor. Let's test the torque and put it through a brush real quick. Went through the brush pretty good, got one jam, but I slowed it down a little bit and went through pretty smooth. Not bad. Let's try it with the Star Blade. All right, brush test with the Star Blade. Now in theory, this should feed the hair in quicker, which might feed it in too quick and jam it up, or it'll just rip through it. Let's see. Yeah, I think maybe it was feeding it in a little too quick, but still made it through the brush without a lot of problems. And like I said before, I like the stock cutting blade better. I just felt like the machine performed better when cutting. All right, so for the RPMs, the Monster Assassin is supposed to get 7,200 RPMs. Let's give it a test. All right, so we're coming in at 7,100 RPMs. A little bit short, but not much. It's pretty much right there, close to the 7,200. All right, so the Monster Assassin is supposed to get up to 180 minutes of runtime. That's 3 hours. So let's give it a full charge, put the machine on the clamp, hit the shot clock, and see if we could get that 3-hour runtime. All right, so we got the machine to run for 2 hours and 34 minutes. Not too bad, but a little short compared to the advertised runtime. All right, and here's one thing I want to show you about the charging base. So it's charging regular. Now, I'm gonna disconnect the power cord. No connection. But if you have a wireless charging mat, like the Tune 45 or something else, you drop it on there. And it has that MagSafe ring on the bottom. Charge it like that. Definitely cool. All right, now getting into the body of the machine. Now up top, you have this magnetic drop top clean out lid. Moving down, thumb indentation with a couple bumps. And this whole section down to the power button is rubber right here, which adds for a really good grip on the machine. Power button. Moving down, you see the Assassin logo right here, and this also acts as a battery indicator. You'll lose a letter as the battery gets lower. Moving to the bottom of the machine, you have the standard charging port and the USB-C charging port. Turn the machine over. You have the finger grooves and a bunch of little shape cutouts right here that acts for like a texturized grip to give a little more grip. 5 click lever. Click lever is very smooth and it has a grip texture on the lever, and you can even move the lever to the other side in case you're left-handed, and the machine comes with an extra lever. All right, so now let's get into the weight and sound for this machine. Monster Assassin coming in at 9 ounces or 254 grams. Now let's check the sound. Monster Assassin coming in at 69 decibels. Pretty quiet, and also the sound, it just sounds like a quality machine. They did a pretty good job with dampening the sound and the vibrations. So now let's talk about the price for this machine. So at the time of this video, the price of this machine is about $179.99. You can find a little bit cheaper. You can also find a little bit more expensive. It's not even that easy to find this machine. It's not everywhere. All right, so now what comes with it? Well, let's check it out. All right, so for that price, what do we get with this machine? Now, we get blade cover, oil, cleanup brush, manual, screwdriver, extra can follower, extra lever to put on the other side of the machine in case you're left-handed, USB charging brick, USB to regular power cord, charging stand, which connects with the regular power cord and has a MagSafe ring on it and can be charged wirelessly. A set of guards, decent plastic, metal tabs, going from a number 2 to 1.5 to 1.5. And all these guards have like this tapered down look right here. The guards, they're good. They only go up to number 2. The machine, I wish it came with more guards, but people use their own guard system nowadays. And if you wanted to use, let's say, the dub guards from Stylecraft, they'll fit, no problem, not rattle. Or something like the Tune 45 guards from Barber, they'll fit on it, no problem as well, without any rattling. Okay, now we're at the teardown section of the video, so let's open the machine up and see what it looks like inside. All right, inside the Monster Assassin, you see we have this big metal bracket that is holding down the brushless motor, and we have this rubbery jacket on top of it to help dampen it and keep the sound down. Definitely a pretty good design, and it did work. It is pretty low with the sound, as you saw before, and doesn't vibrate too much. Here's a circuit board, battery underneath, and the bottom where it connects USB-C. So, pretty well designed machine. Now let's put it back together and get into the final thoughts. All right, so my final thoughts on the Monster Assassin. All around solid machine. You got the crispy blade that comes with it. It's like an Echo blade. Won't need to change that. You got that little magnetic clean out lid. That's always a plus. Look at the lever. Smooth, lots of grip points on it. Rubber grip on the body. Brushless motor. Good RPM. Good runtime. You can charge it regular, USB-C, or magnetically. And I can see why a lot of people are asking about it, because it's a good machine. Is it going to stay on my station? Personally, it's not, only because I've gotten used to these high torque machines that I want the hair to just come off like as soon as I touch it. And this, while it has good torque, it just doesn't take the hair off as quick as I'd like to right away. But with that being said, my partner Rennie loved the machine. He's got more than 20 years behind the chair too. He used it so much, he wore the writing off the back. And one more thing about the torque, I would say it's a little more forgiving than the Stylecraft Sabre 2. So if you have a Sabre 2 and you feel like it's just a little too much, this would be like a little step down and might be in the sweet spot and make your work come out amazing. So Monster Assassin. Now I know why people talk about it. And definitely Barber's Lounge approved.